Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. So, a couple days ago I had Markbug reach out to me. This guy's been following my channel for like over a year now. Um, he's one of my longtime subscribers on my channel, and he saw the video I did on Steel Guts, where I was commenting on Steel Guts game, and he said, "Hey man, I had a really good game on Malinovka. If you want to check out my replay and comment on it, feel free." And I said, "Sure, man, I will check it out." So, sure enough, I am going to bring his replay to my channel. I think it was a phenomenal game that he had. And if because I only have like 130 subs, if he asks me to comment on his video, dude, of course I'll do it for you. So Borisk is pushing here. Super Hellcat is here. This is, again, he's in the 1375. Actually, I don't know if I said this at the beginning. He's 3-marked the 1375. Markbug is a very, very good light tank player. I mean, he comments on my videos all the time saying, I tried this with this tank, and I've 2-marked this one. I'm working on my 3-mark. He's very, very skilled with light tanks, and he loves to play them. So on Malinovka, what you're going to do is get into this bush. Everyone knows this bush. It is the main bush for Malinovka, and again, he's in the 1375, and you can make this work in really any light tank. What's surprising, though, is something I wanted to note. I just recently got the 1375 again, and it doesn't have as much concealment as I remember it having. Like, my LTG trumps it in terms of concealment. I think I have 2.5-ish concealment on it, so like 2 crew members have it, and I think one has like 50%, and it's at like 27% or something like that. So the concealment is actually not that good. Given this tank's design, you would think it would have a lot more concealment, but it is what it is. You have to balance these tanks. This thing it's insanely powerful with its 4-round clip. So I'm going to kind of fast forward a little bit through all this spotting. He has these people lit. He had the people over here lit. The Borisk made a pretty aggressive play we were noting before. And yeah, I mean, this bush is going to get you a crap ton of spotting damage. I think everyone knows that. And, sure enough, I mean, 2,300 spotting damage right off the bat. You can't complain about that. So Mark is on the move, and this is something, as a good player, you're just going to be paying attention to the map. He almost leaves, I would say, earlier than I would have. He's able to determine that this is going to be lost very, very quickly. But he comes up here. He's going to get some shots at the Emil one. And, yeah, I mean, that was a pretty good... I think he hit 3 out of those 4 shots on the Emil, so that was great. But the G-Sor is the only one left at this point in time. And we now know... He's calling out for help. We now know that the north of this map is gone. We have not won the hill. And he plays this exactly as I would play it. In the situation, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? Well, the Tiger over here, or someone else, has already, conveniently enough knocked down like 4 trees for us to sit in. So now what you can do is sit in these trees, use them as a giant bush, basically, use them as a giant bush, and you have this entire hill that you can spot, and people will come down. And as you spot them as they come down, you have all these people back here that are now going to be able to take shots. I'm like losing my voice, guys. I apologize. I just woke up, so I think I'm still like, kind of clearing out my throat and stuff like that. But anyway, so he's here, and from here, like I said, you're going to spot everyone that comes down. Now, I'd like to note on this map in particular, because it's been around for so long, most people know at this point, because of how much World of Tanks has progressed just as a game and how experienced players are now, a lot of people know that if you try and push down this hill, you're going to get whacked. The T-34 knows. He freaking runs like and dives down here. The Emil kind of does the same thing, and you have this one guy hiding behind tanks. It's not like they're all just funneling down. And the defender is over here kind of poking this. I think this is a smart play for the defender. So my point being is you have players that now know, look, it's not a good idea to just push into the open down here unless you have a really fast tank, right? So I'm going to 2x this just a little bit more. Games on Malinovka are pretty long, and I want to get through the video. Mark's doing a phenomenal job here. He knows where to put his tank, right? I mean, he's a very good light tank player. I said this at the beginning, and, you know, this is proving it even more to me. He plays just like me. He knows exactly where to put his tank to spot, and, you know, he's not shooting his gun. He's staying passive, and he's allowing his team to do the work for him, which is what you have to do on this map. He sees that on the Pollock he can get a kill shot. He goes for it. He takes that shot. Brilliant. So, in this situation now, what do we have? We have an M2Y. We have a defender sitting here. He does what I would do. You want to take out this M2Y. You don't want these people being spotted. The defender is not an immediate threat because I know he's not going to try and do something like this yet. The M2Y is YOLOing down this way. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks sitting here plus Artie that could get spotted if you let this guy push down. So he's going to try. I'm going to slow this down a little bit. He's going to try and take shots at the M2Y. Now, the M2Y is going to continue to press, and everyone's kind of clicking on the map. Yeah, we all see him, man, but, you know, something has to be done about this guy. So, at this point, he's trying to stay, you know, basically solid pushing here. I'm amazed that some of these bounced. He turns the tank there at a good time to get Mark to bounce, but those first two, like, probably should have went in. I mean, he's shooting APCRs. I found it incredible that at least one of those didn't go in. But it is what it is. This is RNG. So he's at almost 4K spotting, 617 damage. And at this point, you have really just a defender that's going to be, you know, your next threat, right? There is one Artie in this game. So you have the Type 58, you have the SU-152, and you have the TVP and the Defender. I would be going after the Defender next. It seems like these guys have been unlit a little while. The Thunderbolt's right here. If these guys tried to do something like this, they'd probably be spotted, you know, like in here somewhere, or they might try and do something aggressive like this and come back to here, or they could even come up into the bush line like this. We don't really know yet. We're worried about the Defender, and I think that this next play that he's making here is really, really good. I've watched part of this replay to kind of get myself oriented on what I would be commentating on, so I did see up this far. I think I stopped here and began doing my recording. But I watched this play, and to be honest with you guys, I don't know if I would have made a play like this. This is a very high IQ play, high IQ decision making here, and you have an angle right on the defender where he can't even spot you. And I noticed that Mark does this very, you know, kind of unique poke where he comes out of the bush, I think, to see if the defender can spot him from this range. It's something I do. It's basically I call it a spot check, basically. I mean, you're poking out or maybe even shooting your gun sometimes to see if someone can spot you from this range. And sure enough, the defender could not spot him. So he knows that at least up until he shoots, he's not going to be lit from this guy. And as it turns out, he shot, and he wasn't even lit when he shot. So you're able to get a decent amount of damage there into the defender, and he's now running away, right? I mean, this guy is doing what he should be doing. He's getting into a ditch. He knows that the 1375 has the jump on him, and he knows that he can't even see the 1375 up on the hill. So he's in deep trouble. Now he's trying to poke to see if he can possibly spot him or get Mark to shoot. However, Mark has now moved all the way over here, so this guy poked out too far. And this is just a phenomenal play, right, to do this. Not only that, but you trick the defender into thinking you're further over here, and you get another shot into him. And now this guy is basically SOL. So Mark is at 1,000 damage and a little over 4K spotting. And yeah, man, it's been a phenomenal game. I mean, you've done a damn good job, man. So at this point, what are we going to do? And I think you do pretty much what I would do in this situation. The thing is, for every light tank player is different. Once you get beyond in the game, once you get beyond the initial, let me get into this bush and spot, let me get into that bush and spot, and it gets to a point where you start pressing. There's 4.5 minutes left in this game. It's starting to come down to the wire, right? And Honestly, I don't even think I knew about this bush right here. I might try and use this bush in the future, but he uses this bush to, basically get the jump on the defender so that, he doesn't get spotted coming up to him. And he's able to clean him up. Someone else cleaned him up there, actually, but he's able to get 2 shots into him, and he's at 1,271 damage now. And yeah, he's able to eliminate the defender from the game. At this point, I think you're in good hands, right? You're at a point where you're at over 1,300 HP. You still have 4 minutes left, which is enough time to make this work, and you can use this bush line now. I would have thought that these TDs probably would have been back in here by now if they didn't press, but hey, it is what it is. Like I said, players will do all kinds of stuff depending on how skilled they are. Like, you could try and predict what players are going to do in this game, especially enemy players, but it's not always going to be the same thing or what you think. There's so many times where I've wrongly predicted what enemies would do, and I would have thought these TDs would have fell back by now, but they're both still sitting here, which is just a terrible play on their parts, right? Like, you want to be back here so you could defend, so you could defend most of this all in here. And yeah, they're sitting all the way down here, which is really bad for them. So they're able to clean up the SU, and we saw Mark kind of clean up the arty there. The only thing I would have done differently is I would have pressed, once it gets to a point like this where I know the game's pretty much won, I usually will shoot at the arty on the move. Instead of stopping, I'll keep coming this, like, down the bush line here, and I will try and get shots at these guys because I like to maximize my spotting and my damage at the very end when I know the game is won. Other than that, every single play that Mark made in this game, I would have probably done the same or something very, very similar. I think the only thing that I wanted to note that I'm not sure if I did while we were watching it was when Mark was here at A5 area in this bush line, I think I might have been over here in C5 area in this bush line. And if you look on the map, that's right here, I believe. And Mark was sitting like over here. It's better to draw on the map because we're way too far away from that. But from C5, what you could do is spot people that are like coming this way. You can also still spot things that are like this. So if you have someone coming up this way, like down this ridge line, you can spot them as well. And you can still spot the hill. However, you have this giant church here, and sometimes people will hide behind that. If you sit here, you have a better angle to spot the hill. So really what I want to note here is that even though we did things very, very similar, we play very much alike, more so than me and Steel Guts play alike. I mean, he played it almost identical to how I would play it. However, you heard me say this in Steel Guts' video, different plays work for different players. For instance, if I were here and Mark was here, we saw the defender come up this way, I could have gotten lit by the defender and I would have had to run away. The same goes for, say, if the defender YOLO'd down this way, well, maybe Mark would have had to make a play to get out of there as well. So you can never predict exactly what's going to happen. You could run into trouble in either one of these spots, and it wouldn't necessarily be like if I was here and it didn't work compared to if he was here and it did work. It's not as if I'm a worse player because I made this decision, because it could work better for me here and it could work worse for him here. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times you think the situation is the same, but different things will happen because enemies are different. They will try different things. Not everyone is the same, and sometimes one thing will work and one thing won't work. So if he went here twice, maybe in another game, and I went here twice, it might have worked for me once here and didn't work for me once here, and it might have worked for me once here and didn't work. I hope I'm emphasizing that enough, and explaining it well enough for you to understand that the same thing doesn't work all the time. That's really what I'm trying to say here. Anyway, that's the game, guys. I don't have end plates. Mark, if you watch this far, you can go ahead and comment on your full setup, because I know we can't really see that. You can comment your full setup in this tank. I see that you have it 3 marked. Phenomenal job on this game, man. I think you played it perfectly. You did everything you were supposed to do, and you came out with the win. So 1,621 damage, 4,161 assist. What are we looking at here? Close to 6K, 5,700 combined, something like that. I mean, yeah, this was a very good game, 57, 5,800 combined. And sure enough, it was a mastery. So that's it, guys. I don't think I have anything more to say in closing for this game. Malinovka and Prokhorovka, they are always fun maps, and yeah, if you guys want me to review one of your replays, you can go ahead, send me a message, let me know your game name. I'm friends with Mark, so I know his game name, and I just looked it up and I found the replay. But I'd be happy to, you know, comment over other people's videos. I find it pretty fun. You know, it's interesting, and it's, you know, it's more interesting than even doing your own videos because you haven't seen it yet. You know what I mean? Like, if you've already played it, you kind of know what happens, but if you haven't, then it's a little more exciting to watch, you know, basically a fresh game. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you guys have a phenomenal Memorial Day. By the way, I'm recording this on Memorial Day. Might release this tomorrow, but happy Memorial Day to you all, and I will catch you for the next one. Take care. Bye-bye, guys.